Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special NADA edition of In the Driver's Seat. Joining us is Scott Cauvel, Executive Director, Enterprise Business at S&P Global Mobility. Scott joined the team in 2023 and is responsible for overseeing new business development, client retention, account management, enablement, and revenue growth in the OEM, financial lending, and API digital retail space. Scott has nearly 35 years of experience in the automotive industry, including national and international leadership roles during his tenure at the Ford Motor Company. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Emma. It's great to be with you today.
It's great to have you here. So, Scott,
You bet.
S&P Global Mobility has an impressive lineup in its product family. One of those is MarketScan. MarketScan is a leading provider of automotive pricing and incentive intelligence. Part of your role is introducing OEMs, financial services companies, and digital retailers to MarketScan. Tell us about how that's going and some of the feedback you're hearing.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's going great. It really, to me though, it starts with this foundation, and that's what S&P Global Mobility has. There's 100 years plus of history with S&P Global Mobility. It goes back to R.L. Polk, to me and to everybody else in the industry, kind of the gold standard of registration information. You add to that Carfax, you add to that Automotive Mastermind, and now you add MarketScan, which on its own had 36 years of history. The last two now with S&P Global Mobility. So really a great portfolio of data that we have and brands that we have here at S&P Global Mobility. So with that, it's going great because clients love to hear everything that we have to offer to them and how we help them make what I say over and over again is the best data-driven decisions that they can make in a really complex environment. So going great. Thanks.
Very powerful. So it's fair to say, Scott, when people say, let's look at the numbers, you are the numbers.
We are the numbers. Any which way you want, 360, 365, 24/7, Emma.
That's fantastic. So, Scott, 2024 brought so many unique challenges for the entire automotive industry, OEMs, dealers, lenders. What do you think is in store for 2025?
Boy, you're so right. It's so many challenges. I'd say it's not any one of them is a unique challenge. I think what's so unique is this confluence of all of them simultaneously, and that's really been a complicated, complex, challenging environment for people. But to your question, I think it's going to be more of the same. We are seeing things move around, shift, come down, accelerate, but I think we're in for a lot of the same things we saw in 2024, which is why I think we're at the right place in the right time at S&P Global Mobility and MarketScan. When you look across the landscape, it was that way this year. Last year, I think it's going to be this way in 2025. Incentives are up; they continue to creep up. The top line pricing is high, and that's been kind of a spillover of COVID days. The interest rates are high, come down slightly, but they're still elevated, and that all comes together, equates into this affordability thing that everybody is talking about in the industry and has been. Uh, then you get to inventory, and inventory is high. It's coming down as well, very slowly, but inside that inventory is mix, rate, series, trim, EV versus ICE complexity. Is my inventory in the right place? These are all things that we dealt with last year that I think we're going to deal with in the coming year. And Emma, when you think about it, these are $100 million plus decisions that
Mhm.
OEMs, lenders are making. Do I want to be as competitive as I can be as an outside bank against the captive? Do I need to take a down week to right size my inventory at an OEM? That down week may cost $200 million. So they're making a decision between that or do I accelerate my incentive spending to try to pick up my sales pace? These are really complex, complicated discussions that I know are going on inside OEMs and lenders right now. The good thing is we're here to help and help see through that with a lot of data and insights.
Like you said, I mean, this is really high stakes, very complex, and still a lot to overcome. What hurdles do you think these companies will face when they're trying to overcome the pressures that built throughout 2024?
Yeah, I think they're trying to take all of what I just said, put it together, and come up with, as I've always called it, the narrative. What's the storyline? Help me explain what's happening in the marketplace. That's a first stop for anyone before I decide what to do about the position that I have in the marketplace. To do that, I've got to have a lot of different data. Uh, what they face within that is this disparate data that's across and we hear that over and over again in our clients across the country, is I have a lot of data, but it comes from a lot of different sources and it's all a little bit different. And that means inefficiency for them. It doesn't always mean accuracy for them when they're making decisions. So this is really difficult for them. At the same time, OEMs and lenders are doing more with less. Across the industry, workforce headcount is down. The experience level of people typically is down. We've got lesser experienced people in more complicated roles. Their budgets are down. And we also hear, hey, I need to single source. I don't want to have it from 5 different sources of companies. I need it to come from one. Again, that's why I really love where we're at S&P Global Mobility, because we can do that. As I say, a one-stop shop in a lot of ways for the data that they need and the intelligence they need in the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, leading up to this interview, Scott, you and I were talking about, how so many of your clients are needing to do more with less. At the same
Right.
time, they still need the same accuracy, they still need the same speed. Essentially, you're providing the data that helps businesses make decisions and create strategies quickly. What would
So
you
right.
say is the most effective strategy for gaining a competitive edge throughout 2025? I'll bet you
Yeah.
get asked that question a lot right now.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's what we it's what we work all day long on. To me, it's kind of multifaceted. I've got to find the right data. I've said it multiple times now, but I've got to find it, and it has to be accurate. It has to be timely. It has to be real time, current in the marketplace. I need the ability to integrate that data with my own data. And these OEMs have tremendous amounts of data, lenders as well, tremendous amounts of data that I now need to bring in other data sets with it. And that is challenging. And then they've got to leverage all that data and have it built out into the strategy that they think works best for them. It's really, Emma, why I love what I do and why I love what we do here is we can help with that, and we see how we can pull all those things together and give people a much clearer picture of the marketplace. And they're going to need that this year. It's like we said, it's complicated and complex.
Yeah, well, I can definitely see the passion you have for this, and it just Market Scan just seems so perfectly positioned for what the industry needs right now. The speed, the scale, it's pretty undeniable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've been in this space a long time. Automotive sales, marketing, you said it at the top, pricing and incentives. I need to know what's going on right now, and I don't want it to be weighted, averaged, sampled. I need it in the market, and I need to know. If I need to understand why I don't get my finance share as a lender in Kansas City, Missouri in February, I need to find out why that's happening. If I don't have my sales or my share as an OEM in Topeka, I need to understand why that is, and we can help with that with the specificity that we bring in the data sets. But it's really exciting. It's overwhelming in a lot of ways for people to get their heads around it, and I love helping people see their way through it and set the strategies for a year.
Yeah, well, great stuff. It's been so great having you with us today, Scott. I want
Great
to
being
thank
with you.
you again. Yeah, and we'll see you all next time for In the
Love it.
Driver's Seat.